From Pennsylvania, Mr. Meuser, ranking members on the Subcommittee on Economic Growth, Tax, and Capital Access.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, very much. Administrator, thank you very much for being with us again. We appreciate it. Clearly, there's some maybe misunderstanding of the frustrations that exist, because I spend a lot of time with my small businesses in my district. I do tours probably twice a week when we're in district and visit with 5, 6, 7, or 8 in a row. And it's usually the same feedback. The feedback is that they're struggling. Their sales might be up. Their margins are weaker, are constricted, and they can't get people to work. And they're concerned about inflation. They're concerned about gasoline price spikes. They're concerned about the deliveries that don't come in because of the supply chain issues. And they're concerned about the added regulations. And I think when speaking with you, since you're the advocate for the small business, if we're not hearing that these issues are being addressed, we are the voice of those businesses. We represent them and advocate for them. So we got to provide the oversight and ask these questions for them. That's the purpose of this hearing, and that's why I very much appreciate you being here. Now, with the budget plan, inflation is rising, as we stated, at record paces, 1991 paces, right? Labor shortages, supply chains, I went through it, many plagues of small business. Yet, in the budget that we saw for the SBA, we're not seeing any solutions to these very serious issues that aren't going away anytime soon, by the way, okay? But we do see a lot of climate change, okay, which is terrific, but not the issue that people are bringing up when we're visiting them, and what they're is keeping them perhaps from going out of business. We're also stating that you want to be the first federal agency to crest designation as a voter agency. Okay, this is just off the grid of what truly is important on Main Street. So do you believe that these requests and initiatives illustrate a sufficient focus on your mission, on the advocacy, on finding solutions for the small businesses that make up 75% of the employment throughout my district and most districts throughout the country? If you wouldn't mind answering that question.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And I agree with you that our small businesses are facing those inflationary pressures, workforce shortages. They tell me about the individual prices that they're paying higher within their product mix. And so they've had to adapt and pivot and change their model and access capital in order to survive during this time. So I appreciate what the SBA can do specifically on these issues. We know that for small businesses, they need that advisory service to make sure that their financial management, their supply chain management, their strategic sourcing and strategic planning overall is really strong during this time, because those businesses that recognize that the only constant for them is going to be change, need to be very adaptive. And so our technical assistance and that request for increases is supportive of small businesses to help them.
But
I will
it's not
speak
in
to
the budget. I don't want to interrupt you, but let's just focus on inflation, if we would. Okay, sure. What are some of the solutions to help small businesses and to help America reduce inflation? Because the only thing that comes up in the budget regarding inflation is how wages need to stay up with inflation. That's the only time it's mentioned. So what are we doing about the high gasoline prices and heating prices and increase of delivery costs and so much manufacturing that goes up because of the high fossil fuel, domestic fossil fuel increases? What are we doing about that?
Well, the president's budget really tries to address and create a more productive economy to improve our supply of goods here in the United States, which will help in the long term as we look towards supply. He's also trying to address some of those pocketbook issues like childcare, and that's where SBA also has a role. We're trying to train up more childcare facilities around the country. Those entrepreneurs, we offer boot camps for childcare entrepreneurs so that they can start those businesses, as those costs are meaningful to our small businesses, to families across the country. The president consistently is trying to address energy costs as well. But when we go to what the SBA authority is and what we can do, obviously we're the agency that provides capital and technical assistance and tries to give market access. So we're also working to try to increase the revenue side.
And I believe
child
care is important. Most private businesses tend to deal with with that, and that's a story in itself. I'm running out of time, but I would like to get from you later on the 504 lenders, getting to the Express program. Why has that been delayed? Madam Chair, I know I'm over my time, but Administrator, if I get an answer on that, because that'd be really helpful for many small businesses if that Express program could be finalized and created ASAP. All right, thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and now we recognize the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Evans.